Good morning. Welcome back to week 6, unit 1. And the topic is cultural differences, which is part of way of life. So, who have been abroad before? Did you ever went to other country?
Like outside of Thailand, it need not be far away. Like, have you been nearby? Have you been to Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam? And when you went there, did you feel anything different?
And did you have the feeling to miss Thailand? If you want to come back to Thailand as soon as possible?
So all of that was a culture shock. So when the food was different, when the people were different, they were behaving differently, all that is part of culture shock. So today we will learn about cultural differences. We will learn about cultural differences to be able to compare the differences and similarities between the festivals, celebrations and traditions of native speakers and those of Thais, together with explaining different cultural values of various groups of people in Thai society by accessing internet to search information effectively.
So let's move to the vocabulary.
So the first word is culture shock. Culture shock. So when you see a different culture and it is not something you have seen before, then you're surprised and it's difficult for you to adjust to it. So that is culture shock.
Then discomfort. Discomfort. It's opposite from comfortable. So it's something that you don't feel comfortable with it.
Next is adaptation. Adaptation. So suppose it is cold, and on the first day when winter starts, you feel very cold. But slowly, as time goes by, it's normal for you. So you have adapted to the change.
And the last one, acceptance. Acceptance. So it's the verb accept. So you accept the fact that there's other culture. So if you go to Switzerland or other country, then you accept the fact that Swiss people, they eat cheese for breakfast. So just accept something in the culture.
Okay.
So what is culture?
So think about think about your lifestyle and everything that you do in your daily life. The language, how you work, the clothes you wear, your manners, your sense of humor, your celebrations, food, and the religion you follow. All that makes up your culture.
So then, what is a culture shock? So commonly experienced by travelers, expat or exchange students, culture shock describes the impact of moving from a familiar culture to an unfamiliar one.
So suppose you live in Thailand and you're used to a certain culture, you eat fried rice in the morning for breakfast. But if you go to another country, they eat eggs and bread for breakfast. So that is a change in the habit. And that could be one example of culture shock. Okay, so many examples end up being culture shock. The language, the food, the value system, how you visit the temple, all of that is part of culture shock.
Even the weather, if you go to cold countries, it's like minus 20 degrees, then you will have a culture shock and body shock.
So here are some common symptoms. If you go somewhere which is away from home, you might feel lonely in the beginning, you might feel a little homesick, you might not sleep properly because your timing of sleep has changed, and isolation, and just in general, poor time management. So all these are common symptoms of culture shock.
So you have like 4 stages, and the first one is the honeymoon, the second one is culture shock,
and the third is adjustment, so you adjust, and finally is adaptation.
So we go through all stages in detail. So the first one, honeymoon, so the first stage you usually characterize an extremely positive feeling. So you feel like welcome and everything is still fine. You feel like everything is new, so still everything in good process. And then you go to the culture shock.
So then first you come to a new country, so you're very happy, but after a few days you start feeling a little sad, and then the excitement changes into discomfort. So you are impatient, you're angry, and a lot of times you have a language barrier because you cannot speak the language, so you use sign language, or you feel that you cannot communicate properly. So all those things lead to unhappiness, and that is called a culture shock.
Then adjustment. Then you start to adjust, try to see like, if it's about the weather, you will have like other clothes. If it's about the food, you're gonna try new food and see what you like, what you don't like. If it's about religion, you will maybe learn about your religion to adapt and to respect the other religion.
So in this we have an example of Sweden. So when you go to Sweden, they eat lunch at 12 o'clock and they eat dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening. So then in the first time when you go to Sweden, you like it, and then you have a culture shock. Why do I eat dinner so early? And finally you adjust and you start eating at 6 p.m.
And the body will also automatically a bit adjust by themselves. And then the last stage, adaptation.
So in adaptation, what you have is that you finally overcome the culture shock, and you have got the hang of it, and you have accepted that, okay, this is the way of life, and if I want to live here, then this is what I have to do. So many foreigners, for example, when they come to Thailand, they eat food at 7-Eleven. They eat sandwiches from 7-Eleven because the food is very spicy. But then slowly they accept that the food is spicy and they start eating it. So this is the final stage, and once you reach the stage, then you have integrated with society.
So we'll see a video about how to adapt in Thailand, what to do and what not to do.
If you are traveling to Thailand, learning about the culture is not only very important but also appreciated by locals. By watching this video, you are on the right track to understanding Thai culture. We are here to give you the most important do's and don'ts in Thailand. Hi, my name is Anne. I work for Kovan Castle Bangkok Tours. We are the original bicycle tour here in Bangkok, and we have been operating for over 30 years now, and that's why we like to share our insights with you. The first thing you will probably see when you arrive in Thailand is the wai. This is a traditional Thai greeting or a way to show respect. There are 3 different types of wais. This is the first one. Put your hands together and your thumbs touch your chin. This one is used for greeting colleagues or friends. This is the second one. The thumbs touch your nose. This one is used to greet older people. And the last one, the thumbs touch your forehead. This one is used for the highest level of respect, like for the Buddha, monk, or the king. If you are not sure which one to use, you can use this one. As a general greeting, Thai people use this one when they're not sure if someone's older or younger than them. You will often receive a wai from shops and restaurants. It's not necessary to return the wai for someone who's providing you a service. Instead, a nice, grateful smile is plenty enough. Don't worry if you're not getting it right, because your efforts will be appreciated. Probably the most important don't in Thai culture has to do with the feet. The feet are considered the lowest and dirtiest part of the body. Raising your feet higher than someone's head or just simply putting your feet onto a desk or a chair considered extremely rude. Never ever show the bottom of your feet to anyone. It's equivalent of giving someone the middle finger. Also, avoid pointing your feet at Buddhas. While the feet are considered the lowest part of the body, the head is the most sacred. Never touch someone's hair or head. That also includes ruffling a child's hair. Try to avoid stepping over someone who's sleeping on the ground. Make sure to dress properly when you visit Thai temples. Knees and shoulders should be covered for both sexes. The more formal your clothes, the better. Also, Thai people don't like it when you show too much affection in public. This is also not done in temples. Try to avoid kissing and hugging, but of course holding hands is okay. Thai remove their shoes when they enter homes and temples. When you're entering homes, temples, or even some bathroom and restaurants, they will ask you to take off your shoes and walk around barefoot or with slippers. So be aware if you have to take off your shoes, or it's okay to leave them on. The pal outside the door is your biggest glue. Don't point. Pointing is considered rude in many cultures, particularly so in Thailand. When you want to point at something, just use your hand like this. Throwing an object or money into someone's direction is rude and not polite. Try to take time to hand things over properly, especially to older people. Don't raise your voice. Try to keep your voice down in shops and in restaurants. If you find yourself in an argument, don't raise your voice, don't yell, it won't help the situation, and it also causes people involved to become embarrassed and lose face. Losing face is very important in Thailand. When you lose face, your reputation is lost and you embarrass yourself and the rest of the people. Do treat monks with the highest respect. Women are not allowed to touch a monk, so be careful when you're near one. Also, give a monk plenty of space to move around, and when you pass a monk, lower your body. Taking pictures are typically allowed in Thailand, unless there's a sign that says you shouldn't. So it's no problem to take a picture, but be respectful. And also, Buddha images are not for decoration and not for tattoos. And the last one, don't forget to smile. Thailand is also known as the land of smiles, so try to smile as much as possible, and you will notice that your experience will be even more enjoyable. If you are looking for a unique and authentic adventure and want to learn more about the culture, come book a tour at Kovan Castle Bangkok Tours. We are the #1 outdoor activity on TripAdvisor. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you learned something new about Thailand. If you are traveling to Bangkok, click here to see our complete transportation guide, click here to know more about us, and click here to visit our website. If you like this video, please subscribe if you want to get notified when we're making new videos. Thank you. Bye!
Welcome back, and here we have your final thinking tool. So we would like you to make a compare and contrast between Thai culture and Western culture. So what you can do is look at the video before, as you just saw, try to see what is it that you do in Thailand that you don't do abroad, so in the US or UK. And you can use that to write down and make this compare and contrast.
Okay, so which country could you adapt easily? If you know some countries already, like I know you're a fan of South Korea and Japan, so do you think you can live there and to adapt? The food, the culture, the religion?
So yeah, think about it and write that down as well.
Okay, so summarizing, write the vocabulary from the lesson in English and try to find the meaning in Thai on your notebook.
And also make a note when you watch the video, try to make a note about the do's and don'ts in Thailand, and then use that to make the thinking tool, which is the compare and contrast between Thai culture and Western culture.
Okay, so see you for the next video.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.